because I'm going to go on. Yes, greetings and salutation, one and all. Blessed afternoon. This is I Am Sure Sports, and I am Omar Stennett. So delighted that you have joined. If you're watching live, really appreciate that. Easter Monday, windy, very windy day. Had some overnight showers. You hear the sound of kites, you know, all over the afternoon skies. Yeah, just wanted to speak to you a little bit, but first let me thank all our subscribers, all the persons who have subscribed to the channel. We, just hitting the 100 mark. We started the channel recently just to add to the quality content that is already out there, just to give our thoughts. So we appreciate your support. If the subscribe button is still red, it means that you have not subscribed. So go ahead and do that. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Just a very simple, quick video. You'd have heard if you're in Jamaica that Rudolph Speid, he did an interview on one of those channels. I think it's called Sports Down the Middle, where he kind of briefly discussed the Reggae Boys JFF uh, ongoing negotiation in terms of the base salary, and secondly the bonuses and other matters relating to the Reggae Boys team in preparation for the World Cup qualifiers and for the Gold Cup. Very informative interview was done, and so let me give you some of the things that I got from that interview. And firstly, I must say that I honestly believe that both parties are interested in coming to an amicable solution to this present problem, meaning the JFF are eager to get a deal done and the players are eager to get a deal done because it doesn't benefit either party that a deal is not established. And so that's a very good thing. In fact, one of the things Mr. Speed said is that the negotiations are closer than they have ever been. The recent proposal by the boys is for $3,000 and then bonuses and all the other things. What they also listed in that some other important thing that they believe will help to professionalize the football. And I think that is good. I think though as Jamaican we must manage the dialogue very well because I believe some of our sentiments while either side that we're on could could deteriorate or erode the negotiating process, especially this ongoing debate about English born players and locally born players and the influx, let us say, of overseas players. I think it is beneficial and crucial that the GFF does as much as they can, right, to get this deal going. That's number one. They must do all that they can to get a deal. But secondly, there has to be some leeway on the players' side. That I think it is in their best interest to just play football and let the public stand in support of them. Let the public drive the argument, right? Drive the argument in terms of what they're supposed to be compensated. And as you know, most of these players is not for the money. So and I've constantly said this, there's a issue of respect that needs to really be looked at. The issue of do these players respect the leadership of the GFF? And do members of the GFF respect players? Because no matter how much you negotiate, if there is no respect, then things are going to continually be in a state of confusion. The truth is hurt people hurt people. And some of the players are hurt, and people within the GFF, they are carrying personal hurt. And that is being played out in these negotiations. And so we must all again stop, pause, and look at this. And the question we have to ask is what is in the best interest of our local football? I really believe we need a combination of players out of England. We also need some players who are plying their trade in the local Premier League. Maybe, and I will be the first to admit that we may not be able to find high quality players in our local Premier League, but as a part of the development, we should not assemble any squad for any competition without having at least 3 players from our local Premier League. I'm not saying they must be in the starting 11. I'm not saying that they must come on in the game. What I am saying is that to promote the Premier League and encourage people to be involved, players must see a pathway from our local Premier League to the national team. And for that to happen, we should never assemble a squad without having players from our local Premier League. So outside of that, you have the players over in Africa. You have the Low and the Mattox and the Romario Williams and Alvas Powell. You have those playing in the USL. And I really don't believe the quality of the USL is far above our Premier League, to be honest. Technically and tactically, what I think is there's a greater uh, financial input in the USL. And so, where there is money, things tend to look better in terms of the overall commodity. But when you really look at the technical and tactical aspects of the game, I believe that we have enough quality. When I look at teams like Cavaliers and how they play the game, you look at a Portmore United, Harbourview, Arnett Garden when they were in their prime. I think about like a Waterhouse team. When Mobile United, for example, were in the Premier League, they could compete with other teams within CONCACAF, within in the Caribbean, North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. So I believe that we have enough quality. Mount Pleasant is doing a tremendous work in St. Anne as well. So there are good quality teams and good quality players in our local football, and we should. All right. I also would love because there are many bloggers out there. You have Coach Minzy, Simon Preston. A lot of these guys are out there. A lot of them out there. And I'm wondering if the JFF, and this is just my thought, I think some of these guys are very knowledgeable in terms of what they do and information that they are able to amass. And maybe the JFF need to invite them into a meeting and see how many of these guys they could get on board to support them and help them in their online output as a federation. Maybe there's a cost attached to it, maybe there is not. But maybe they should look at that as well. But I foresee in the short future a deal being brokered between the JFF and the players, where both parties will not get all that they desire, but there'll be some satisfaction one way or the other. And if that is done in this month or in the early parts of May, then we can now allow Coach Whitmore to focus on assembling the best possible squad to the Gold Cup, right? And that squad, at least 20 persons out of that squad must form the core for the World Cup qualifiers that begin in September. I know we have a friendly international somewhere down in June. I'm hoping that if the game in Serbia against Japan is on, then if we're in Japan, we should also try and at least play Japan so we get 2 games within that window and use as many players as possible to see who we will take to the Gold Cup. So that is what we want to share concerning the ongoing JFF negotiations. Now, for all the Premier League fans out there, the EPL fans, interesting times. My team, Arsenal, played the worst game I've seen. I've never seen a game that bad under Freddie Ljungberg, Unai Emery, or Arsene Wenger. That is from the time that I've been watching Arsenal, from Arsene Wenger. Originally, I was a Liverpool fan when you had the great John Barnes and Bruce Grobbelaar in goal, and all into Liverpool. But Wenger came in at Arsenal, and the Bergkamp and those guys, they won me over. Tony Adams, all of these guys, Nigel Winterburn, all of these guys won me over. And but I've never seen Arsenal look so bad. And commendation to Liverpool. I think this is what Klopp should have been doing long time. Instead of trying to take in his midfielders and put them into defense, trust your defenders and keep your strong midfield. Fabinho looked like a general in the game. And though Arsenal played really, really bad, deserve to have lost by even more. I think Liverpool played well, and commendations to them. All right, now the Tottenham game, what a game. I mean, I'm so glad that Joe Willock, our Arsenal player, came on and scored against his major rival, the Tottenham club, to tie that game 2-2, putting a little pressure on Tottenham to finish at least in the top four, and maybe facing some struggles based on their remaining fixtures to finish in the top six. But on top of that, here's the thing: Chelsea lost the game, and I think honestly, if Chelsea had all 11 players, let's be honest, they would have won the game. West Bromwich Albion defeated them by 5 goals to 2. But really, the Thiago Silva red card really affected the game. Clear red card, no arguments, but that is what changed the trajectory of the game. I think like Chelsea would have easily won that game, though West Brom was not looking that bad. This is the second time in the season. Like I remember West Brom and Chelsea earlier in the season played to a 3-all tie. And so good win for West Brom. They're still down there in the relegation battle. But I must say that Chelsea lost that game not because they were outclassed and outplayed, but because they had 10 players. Now let's move to the Sunday game. The Sunday game, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not a Manchester United hater. I personally believe that they need to purchase Harry Kane. They need to get Harry Kane. Don't go after Eric Ireland. Get Harry Kane. Pay 150 million for Harry Kane to come to Manchester United, and you're on course to win the Premier League next season. I believe their squad is that good. I don't believe they have the best coach. I think of the top clubs, Arteta and Solskjaer are fighting for who is the worst out of the top 10 clubs in the Premier League, to be honest. They are I would give Solskjaer the edge, but if Arteta goes on and win the Europa League, then you can say, well, he has won 3 titles in basically 2 seasons. So what are you going to say? But here's the deal. Manchester United has a good enough team to be performing better than they are, and that is due to the coach that they have. Think he gets his selection wrong, how he sets up his team. Brighton was really outplaying them in the first half. All right, though Manchester hit the bar. But watch this. What shifted the game was the Harry Maguire foul on Danny Welbeck, that a penalty was not awarded, and VAR did not even encourage the official Mike Dean. This is people. This is Mike Dean. Some of the most controversial calls in the Premier League this season is due to Mike Dean. In fact, there was a weekend or two when Mike Dean had to step away. Now, you can't blame Manchester United, really, because it is officiating. Right, but that to me, in my own estimation, that was a penalty. And if Brighton had gotten that penalty and say scored it, it would have been 2. And I would find it hard for Manchester United to rebound from that. And so here's the deal, man. The deal is poor officiating. And the balance of playing the second half, Manchester deserves to win because they played a whole lot better in the second half. But poor officiating. And Manchester United in particular keep getting these calls. All right? But let me tell you something. It's a karma. These things have a way of coming back to haunt you. And that's what I fear in Manchester United. Like I said, good squad, and they should be performing a whole lot better than they are. But they need a better coach and the inclusion of Harry Kane. If you go over into Spain, what is happening over there, man, it's crazy. Atletico Madrid lost yesterday. So because they have lost a game, it means if Barcelona wins, they are only leading. Atletico would only be leading by 1 point. And you get the feeling like this is the end of the road for Atletico Madrid, because Barcelona, they are not in the Champions League. Atletico is not in the Champions League. And so Real Madrid still has a Champions League to play. In fact, they play tomorrow. Very interesting game. They go up against Liverpool at at home at Anfield, and that is going to be a good game. But if they can nullify, if Liverpool, I still get back to the Atletico thing, but if Liverpool can nullify the effects of Karim Benzema, who has been Real Madrid's best player this season, I think Liverpool will have enough firepower to win this first leg. And the only way Real Madrid can win this tie is if they get a point from the first leg. If Liverpool wins by 2 or 3, it's over for Real Madrid. Then they're not going to beat Liverpool. Um, and Liverpool are going to score away from home. So Liverpool needs a clean sheet. Don't leave no spot, no stain, nor no wrinkle on the sheet. Liverpool, leave it clean, and you win the tie. All right. Back to Atletico Madrid. So I think a lot of pressure is on Atletico Madrid, and I think if they don't win the La Liga this year, they need to release Diego Simeone. This has, Brethren, I'm not an Atletico fan, but Diego Simeone has been there in these positions for like 8 or 10 years now, and I have not won a thing. You understand me? We really have to. They really have to consider removing him. No matter who he gets and what he does, he ends up in the same spot and same position. So we need to check out that. All right. Yeah. So that's a little bit of La Liga news for you. I don't think my prediction for the top four is going to change. I did tell people initially that Liverpool is going to, like, I almost believe that they are going to finish the rest of the season with probably one more loss or a tie. They're going to win almost all their games, I believe. And so that is going to put pressure on Manchester United. I think Manchester United have a few tough fixtures ahead of them, and I foresee them struggling to stay in second place. Not because they're not a good team, but because of their coach. And they have a very tough um, some very tough ties. I know they have Grenada in the Europa League, but after that they will either face PSG or Roma, which is going to be a tough tie unless they give up on their aspirations for winning Europa. And I don't think they will, because Solskjaer is seeking to win a title. So I suspect that Manchester United may fall down to fourth, because I believe Chelsea and Liverpool are going to be up there. And I don't think Leicester is going to make the same mistakes like they made last year and fall out of the top four. If you remember, that's what happened to Leicester. They were in prime position, and on the last day of the season, they lost out and finished fifth place, and now they're in Europe. I don't think Brendan Rodgers is going to allow that to happen again. All right, so look out for that. Couple of games on today, big games in the Champions League tomorrow. I mean, again, my prediction is that City is going to win the Champions League. How do I know? Listen, Robert Lewandowski is possibly out for a month or so, which means he's going to miss most of the rest of the Champions League. So I now predict that PSG will beat them in their tie, their quarterfinal tie, and whoever wins that plays Manchester City. I watched PSG versus Lille over the weekend. I've been watching them. They don't have the quality, I believe, to defeat such a well-rounded Manchester City side. All right. So look out for those things. Let me know what your thoughts are. Remember, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Like and share the video. Finally, I let me just, because a lot of people have been asking, do you believe that there is going to be any local Premier League and all of that? My thoughts are really, I don't think so. I don't think that there is going to be any local Premier League. So you have to listen out next week Sunday, because if the Prime Minister extends the curfew that are imposed, that means teams will not be able to train for April. When are we going to play the Premier League? It's a very tough situation, because I'd love to see some local football. Not just that is affecting people's pocket, but what it is doing is killing and quenching the desires of the youngsters to play the sport. There are many persons who are in their 20s, like 29, 30, who, when football restart, they're not going to play any football.
There are many people who are investing in football. Like I run a club, I run a club and I run it really just to help youngsters, not to generate masses of money. No, but I run the club because I want to help people. Right? We played in the Super League, and we have aspirations of one day playing in the Premier League. No, a lot of the youngsters, because I use a lot of youngsters, which is probably an advantage for me. A lot of the youngsters have no desire to play football anymore because of this whole lockdown. Not only that, because the economical conditions are changing, you have to begin to look, is it wise for me to invest this kind of money in football that doesn't produce a profit for me? So these are the things that a lot of people out there, if you look at some of even the fields, just to get like Froome Sports Ground in Westmoreland up and running again, some of the local community fields, they are overgrown, overgrown. The infrastructures at the field are all going into shambles because nothing is being done at the venues and people are not able to take care of them. Listen, a lot of the coaches who are going to come back into coaching are going to demand salary because they have been out of the scene for a whole year. Where are they going to get money from? Nobody not going to want to do this thing for free. No, you to go and pay if you play ball. You're not going to find that scrimmage and those are the things they're not playing. The little corner league that a man would go to and see a little talent and to come youth, the little primary school, all of those things have been stopped. And I also don't believe that there's going to be any Manning Cup or the Costa Cup this year again. So these things have some serious long-term implication. It means that some players who are in fourth form and third form would have completed high school, without playing more than probably a season or half a season of schoolboy football. What is going to happen to them? Because a lot of them won't matriculate into Premier League clubs. So this thing have serious ripple effect. Serious ripple effect. So as we progress, you'll begin to feel some of the effects of these things. People are rechanneling their financial resources. That is what is happening. That is what is happening. So I don't know. I hope for the best where football is concerned. And that is why I believe that the Gold Cup and qualifying for the World Cup will be a necessary springboard to resuscitate football in Jamaica into the crevices and corners of society because it is almost dying and we don't feel it yet. We don't feel it yet. I'm very sure that even Premier League clubs will tell you that they don't have the necessary resources to restart their programs. Not all of them. So a footballer who was 21, 22, or 30, sorry, 30 or 31 um last year at a club, probably the club gonna release him. It's like all clubs will be forced to rebuild, and that takes a whole lot of money. So that is the predicament, that is the place that football is at right now. Man, it's tough. It's a very tough proposition for the stakeholders of football. Um, I know it's very tough for many of the footballers, and so this is why again I think the government, if Minister Grange can get involved to some extent in ensuring that these negotiations are at the financial level, because you need other people to deal with the mediation in terms of the relationship that needs to be sorted out there. But in terms of the negotiation, just for the benefit of the sport itself, we need to get as many stakeholders as possible. I like how Arville Powell, former or the owner of Mobile United, spoke because he said, listen, the players need to play football and focus on money. Completely true. And he says the GFF need to be more organized because he said he saw this happening. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the owners of club come out. I want to hear, um, you know, Raymond Anderson. I want to hear you know, Everton Tomlinson. I want to hear Danny Bedford. I want to hear the lady who run over St. Catherine, the man from Trelawney. I want to hear the parish associations speak publicly. What do you say? I want some of the clubs. I want to hear from Mount Pleasant. I want to hear from the owners of Waterhouse, the owners of Arnett Garden. What everybody afraid to speak. People need to come out and speak in the public media so we can know the real state of the football and what is being done to bring both parties together. All right. So this was a quick one. It was supposed to be 20 minutes. We got 26. You know, um, remember, like, share, subscribe. The word subscribe is red. It means that you need to touch it. Use a thumb and press it. That's it. Then hit the notification bell after you do that. All right. We have always have good content. We have a very good movie on the channel called Just Another Friday. You need to check it out. Nice Easter movie. You're at home right now. Go and watch it, man. And make a comment. You understand? Look out. We have a big video coming out on Friday. Look out for that. And before the weekend, we'll do a couple live. On Thursday, we're going to be live as we check it. Arsenal, yeah, tell you. Playing against Slavia Prague, the name is, the Croatian team. Boy, Arteta. I'm Arteta in, but Arteta, you're in trouble. That is it. You're in trouble. If you get knocked out of this, the fan base going to turn against you. So you better try, make some changes. And if it means benching Obama, Young and Lacazette and Pepe, you have to do that, Arteta. We need a win. Over and out. Remember, like, share, and subscribe.